This is not another boring podcast. Mustafa threw the police body cam. Judge Carol Weimer under the microscope. So we're picking up where we stopped last time. We're combing through the forensic interview of Kylie Clapp. The prosecutor tells us that she has a witness that witnessed that this is premeditated murder. The problem that we have with this case is we're combing through all the witnesses, and no one is telling you that they were there. No one actually says we were there, we saw, we heard. They all say, each one of the witnesses, alleged witnesses, say, we were not there. We did not hear. And they began saying and painting Mustafa as a monster. But yet the prosecutor tells us in court that she has a witness. Now, this is a sealed file from the community. We're in possession of that file. And now we're going through it. And we can actually get to the bottom of it. I mean, Mustafa Al-Jazari has been held in a county jail. The prosecutor is terrified to put his evidence on the record and take him to trial. The question is, why is Mustafa been sitting in a county jail for 2.5 years without trial? This prosecutor is terrified. Mustafa been held in a county jail for over 2.5 years in solitary confinement. No trial. The evidence, she refused to put them on the record. Now, you can FOIA request the body cams. You can FOIA request a document in the Mustafa Al-Jazari case, and your FOIA will be denied by the Commonwealth Attorney, Amy Ashworth. Will be denied by the police department. They're not going to release any document to you. They're not going to release any body cam. They're not going to release anything in the Mustafa Al-Jazari case. You don't have to take my word for it. Submit a FOIA and let me know if she's going to release anything to you. Now, unfortunately for the Commonwealth Attorney, I stole the file from the Commonwealth Attorney, and I'm leaking it all over the internet. We're not only leaking the file, we're combing through the whole entire file. Now, before we jump into the Mustafa Al-Jazari case, we're going to briefly give an introduction and what is going on in the Mustafa Al-Jazari case. Mustafa Al-Jazari case got in a vehicle accident. Mustafa lost his family in a vehicle accident, his girlfriend, her 5-year-old baby. And Mustafa was in a coma, helicoptered to the hospital. Now, the material facts of this case show that this is a vehicle accident. Mustafa was not speeding. There's a computer inside the vehicle that show that Mustafa was not speeding. There's a dash camera in Mustafa's vehicle that shows he was not driving reckless, and he did everything he can to avoid a vehicle accident. The computer inside the vehicle showed that Mustafa's foot was on the brake the whole entire time. Mustafa makes it to the 4th lane, all the way to the 4th lane, and the SUV turns into Mustafa. Did Mustafa do everything he can to avoid a vehicle accident? Yes. His foot was on the brake the whole entire time. He makes it all the way to the 4th lane. He avoids every vehicle, and a vehicle turns into Mustafa. The computer inside the vehicle show that his foot was on the brake the whole entire time. This is the material facts in this case. Now, at one point, the main investigator, Robert Drum, talks to Mustafa, and he falsified Mustafa's statement. He said, "You told me that you were arguing with your girlfriend inside the vehicle." Now, at the time, there is a recording of the conversation. My other brother, Muhammad, recorded the phone call conversation between Mustafa and the investigator. So we have proof that Mustafa never said that. That this was a falsified statement by the investigator. We're going to briefly go into what the news is saying about Mustafa, because at the time we took the audio of the phone call conversation to Internal Affairs, and this made the news. Let's go over to what the news is telling us.
For tonight, there are new questions being raised in the case of a man charged with murder for a crash that killed his girlfriend and her 5-year-old daughter last year.
They come after Prince William's police chief ruled the investigating officer had violated department policy. Northern Virginia Bureau Chief Julie Carey spoke to the driver's defense attorney about why he thinks the finding casts doubt on the case.
Mustafa Al-Jaziri has been behind bars for almost a year now, accused of intentionally driving his car into oncoming traffic, a crash that killed Dorothy Fontaine and her 5-year-old daughter, Empress. Initially charged with manslaughter, the charges were later upgraded to second-degree murder. Al-Jaziri's family insists
the charges were upgraded within 5 days of Internal Affairs contacting the Commonwealth Attorney and telling her, we have information, we have evidence that the investigator falsified Mustafa's statements. 5 days later, the Commonwealth Attorney retaliates and she upgrades, she drops the manslaughter, which was odd on its own because she was charging him with a DUI manslaughter when Mustafa's toxicology report show no alcohol and no drugs. This is Mustafa's toxicology report. So this is a toxicology report. I'm going to zoom in where it shows blood alcohol non-detected, no alcohol in Mustafa's system. THC 0.0003, no drugs in his system. So the question that we have for the Commonwealth Attorney, the vehicle accident happened on April 5th. Mustafa had a toxicology report and it was in the system on day 1. Question is, if his blood shows no alcohol and no drugs, how did you hold Mustafa on a DUI manslaughter from April 5th? Mustafa was arrested on April 7th. From April 7th all the way to October. In October, we submitted in September, we submitted a audio to Internal Affairs that this investigator falsified Mustafa's police report. Within 5 days, the Commonwealth Attorney drops the involuntary DUI, involuntary manslaughter DUI, and then she upgrades it to murder. How did she hold Mustafa from April 7 all the way to October on a DUI? When his toxicology report show no alcohol and no drugs. Let's go back to what the news is telling us.
Ruled the investigating officer had violated Prince William's police chief.
Killed his girlfriend and her 5-year-old daughter last year.
They come after Prince William's police chief ruled the investigating officer had violated department policy. Northern Virginia Bureau Chief Julie Carey spoke to the driver's defense attorney about why he thinks the finding casts doubt on the case.
Mustafa Al-Jaziri has been behind bars for almost a year now, accused of intentionally driving his car into oncoming traffic, a crash that killed Dorothy Fontaine and her 5-year-old daughter, Empress. Initially charged with manslaughter, the charges were later upgraded to second-degree murder. Al-Jaziri's family insists the crash was an accident. The defendant's brothers filed an internal affairs complaint with the Prince William County Police, alleging...
This is the internal affairs we submitted with Internal Affairs, that there's an audio that Mustafa never said what this investigator is claiming that Mustafa said. This investigator flat out falsified Mustafa's statements.
The investigating officer, quote, falsified a portion of his police report to say that...
Now, this complaint was very specific. In this complaint, I said, I have an audio that this investigator falsified Mustafa's statement. And then we get a letter admitting and saying that this investigator, after Internal Affairs conducted an investigation, found out that this investigator violated department policy. They're investigating what? And violated what department policy? My complaint was very specific, and I complained about this investigator falsifying Mustafa's statement. And there's an audio. So it's not my word against their word. No, I have an audio that this investigator falsified Mustafa's statement, and Mustafa never said that I was arguing inside the vehicle. No, this investigator flat out put that in the police report, falsified the police report. And this is the foundation of the whole entire case.
The couple was arguing before the crash. Al Jazeeri's brother provided a taped version of a phone conversation that contradicted portions of the written police report. Last month, the Al Jazeera family received this brief letter from Prince William Police Chief Peter Newsham reading, "The investigation revealed that Master Police Officer Drum violated department policy, therefore appropriate corrective action has been taken." Al Jazeera hired a new defense.
This is Mustafa's lawyer, and he's going to go into, to a certain extent, in detail with the dash camera show. It shows that Mustafa is attempting to pass a vehicle in front of him. There's a dash camera in Mustafa's vehicle that he's had for over 5 years. And the dash camera, which is sealed by the Commonwealth attorney. By the way, this dash camera is sealed. To this day, the dash camera is sealed. The prosecutor, Commonwealth attorney Amy Ashworth, is terrified from the dash camera. She's not releasing it to the community. I mean, they want to say that he was arguing inside the vehicle, but yet when you watch this dash camera, you'll see that Mustafa and Dorothy are passing back and forth a cigarette 8 times. And the way she grabs the cigarette from his hand, she feels his finger. That's a sign that she loves him. I mean, she feels his finger as she's grabbing that cigarette. And yet they want to tell us that they're arguing, but they don't want to release the dash camera out to us. I stole the dash camera from the Commonwealth attorney. I put it on the internet, and it shows there is no argument inside the vehicle. Defense attorney goes into, and he goes in a little bit of details. He says, the dash camera shows that he's attempting to pass a vehicle in front of him, takes a lane. It's the wrong lane, and finds himself in a position where he couldn't get back into traffic. There is brake failure. The police department inspected Mustafa's vehicle and found brake failure. Mustafa's foot was on the brake the whole entire time. He couldn't get back into traffic. There's brake failure. He finds himself the lane end. When the lane end, you find yourself in oncoming traffic. At that point, Mustafa did everything he can to avoid every vehicle, makes it all the way to the other side, to the 4th lane, all the way to the other side, and the SUV turns into Mustafa. The material fact of this case showed that Mustafa did everything he can to avoid a vehicle accident.
Attorney Blake Weiner, who tells me he specializes in police misconduct cases.
The police report talks about my client saying, "I know what happened." He didn't say that. The police report also says that they were arguing in the car. He didn't say that. These are not only these material facts and material misrepresentations, they're the foundation of the government's case.
Weiner says without the incriminating statement, there's no... Al Jazeera hired a new defense attorney, Blake Weiner, who tells me he specializes in police misconduct cases.
The police report talks about my client saying, "I know what happened." He didn't say that. The police report also says that they were arguing in the car. He didn't say that. These are not only these material facts and material misrepresentations, they're the foundation of the government's case.
Weiner says without the incriminating statement, there's no proof Al Jazeera crashed the car intentionally. Police will not disclose specifically what led to the finding that the investigating officer violated department policy. In a statement, a spokesman writes, "The community can be rest assured the very minor administrative errors that were uncovered and addressed will not have a negative impact on the double murder charges the accused is facing in the deaths of a mother and her 5-year-old daughter."
Lieutenant Jonathan Perot with Prince William County says the community can be rest assured that the very minor administrative errors that were uncovered and addressed will not have a negative impact on the double murder charges that the accused is facing in the death of a mother and her 5-year-old daughter. Minor administrative errors? That's what you call falsifying the statements of Mustafa al-Jazari? I mean, this is a case of public opinion. This community is waking up to a reality that in our community, Mustafa gets in a vehicle accident. The material facts of this case is that this is a vehicle accident, that he did everything he can to avoid a vehicle accident, and the main investigator falsified Mustafa's statement to arrest him. And then when you have proof that the statements are falsified, you have Jonathan Perot that comes out and chalks it up under minor administrative errors. What's minor about falsifying the foundation of this case? Your investigator is saying that Mustafa said he was arguing inside the vehicle. To you, Lieutenant Jonathan Perot, this is minor administrative errors? I mean, they must think this community is stupid. They must think this community is asleep. Oh, that's right. The file is sealed. You can't get to the bottom of anything in this case. The Commonwealth Attorney, Amy Ashworth, went to the presiding judge, Judge Carol Weimer, and she sealed off the file. You can't FOIA request the documents. You can't FOIA request the police body cams. You can't FOIA request the goddamn dash camera. I mean, wouldn't you think if this was intentional, the first thing they'll do is release the dash camera to you? But instead, they seal off the dash camera from you. And when they do release it, they release 3 seconds, 2 seconds in the beginning, 2 seconds in the end, piece it together, release a chopped up version, a muted version. Now we're finding out that they've cut the dash camera and muted the dash camera, and they're chopping it up and taking it out of context. I mean, after a year and a half, when they finally released a portion of the dash camera, they released just about 4 seconds. Piece 2 seconds in the beginning, piece together 2 seconds in the end, took the dash camera out of context, and they're telling you this is what happened. No, it's not. Why not release the full dash camera and let this community see what is going on inside the vehicle? Why did your police officer cut and mute this dash camera? We have evidence that they muted the dash camera, they cut the dash camera, and the whole dash camera is goddamn sealed. I mean, if I didn't steal it out of the Commonwealth Attorney and put the whole thing on the internet, you can't find out what's going on inside the vehicle. Instead, you're taking the word of Lieutenant Jonathan Perot. Don't worry about anything. It's just minor administrative errors, falsifying a person's statements when we're charging him with murder is just minor administrative error. We're going to charge him with murder. We're going to falsify his statements. And when you have evidence that the main investigator falsified the statement, we're just going to come out and make it look, repackage the whole thing and make it look professional. And we're just going to tell this community that it's minor administrative error. This community is so goddamn stupid. This community is so goddamn asleep. They're not going to notice. Really? That's what you think?
Daughter. And the Commonwealth's attorney also telling me the policy violation will not impact the case, writing, "The letter has no impact on our case or the charges we brought. We were aware of the mistake that the officer made in his report and had already provided that information to the defense." Court documents filed by prosecutors say there is...
Commonwealth's Amy Ashworth says she was aware of the falsifications. Oh, really? So you already knew that your investigator already falsified Mustafa's statement, and that's how you issued out a warrant, and you're building a whole entire case on falsified statements. I mean, the prosecutor, to this day, repeats the falsified statements in court every time Mustafa has a bond hearing. And the Commonwealth attorney comes out to the community and tells them, yeah, we already knew that our investigator, Robert Drum, is a piece of shit. He falsified the statement. So what? And then she goes on, and then she says, I have other evidence to support my case. What's your other evidence, sweetheart? What are the evidence that you have? She tells you, I have a dash camera Wait a minute. Are we talking about the same dash camera that you're terrified to release to this community? That I had to steal from you for this community to see that there is no argument and that Mustafa did everything he can to avoid a vehicle accident? That dash camera? Are we talking about the same dash camera that your police department cut the dash camera before impact? The dash camera cuts off before impact. I've never seen a dash camera that cuts off before impact. Are we talking about the dash camera that's missing audio when the internal document show that your police department is in possession of the audio? Oh, that's right. You cut the audio, and then you want to hire me, a lip reader, to lip read, not Mustafa, Dorothy. You found yourself a bullshit lip reader, and you want to bullshit your way out of this case. Oh, that's right. The file is sealed. The whole file is sealed. No one can verify anything that you're doing behind closed doors. Well, unfortunately for you, ma'am, the whole file is being leaked on the internet.
To the defense. Court documents filed by prosecutors say there is other evidence supporting the charges, including dash cam video from the vehicle. But there's no audio on the recording.
They claim they don't have audio of the dash camera, but here they are telling the public they were arguing. So if they don't have audio, and my client didn't say they're arguing despite the police report saying so, what's their basis?
Hold on now. This is Mustafa's defense attorney. When you open the file, let's go into the document that shows that there is audio to this dash camera. But this is a sealed document. No one can find out that this dash camera actually has audio. They concealed it from Mustafa. They concealed it from Mustafa's attorney. They concealed it from the judge every time Mustafa has a bond hearing. I mean, picture this. It's been 2.5 years, right? Why is it every time Mustafa goes in front of a judge for a bond hearing, they don't say that their internal document found out and is in possession of the audio? The Commonwealth attorney official statement, and we just heard her on the news. She said this dash camera does not have audio. But when you open the file, you find out that this document on April 24 of 2023, that Officer Zymus says, although the last several videos recorded on the device did not appear to have sounds, the sound record feature on the device was turned on. It showed that the file did have an audio track. Why are you concealing this document, Commonwealth's Amy Ashworth? Oh, so your police department cuts off the audio, chop up the dash camera, and you want to come out to NBC4 through Julie Carey, and Julie Carey says, the Commonwealth attorney says, there is no audio. What are we looking at here, ma'am? Your police department is in possession of the audio. I mean, this is illegal, by the way. It is illegal to withhold exculpatory evidence. I mean, by law, you're supposed to release any piece of evidence, whether it makes Mustafa look bad or good. You're sitting on exonerating evidence that's going to show that there is no argument inside the vehicle. You chop up you mute the dash camera, and you hire yourself a goddamn lip reader? What are you hiring a lip reader for? I mean, Julie Carey with NBC4, the prosecutor inside the court says, Your Honor, Judge Weimer, I have a lip reader. What do you need the lip reader? Your police department says they're in possession of the audio. Oh, the file is sealed. No one knows about this. No one is going to find out about this. On April 24, 2023, the vehicle accident happened on April 5th of 2023. And they admit in the file on April 24, 2023, that they had the audio. We'll get to the bottom of it. Let's go back to the news.
For tonight, there are new
They claim they don't have audio of the dash camera, but here they are telling the public they were arguing. So if they don't have audio, and my client didn't say they're arguing despite the police report saying so, what's their basis? We don't know.
Weiner says his next step as the newest defense attorney on this case will be to seek bond for his client. The trial now set for December. In Prince William County, I'm Julie Carey.
Now, the Commonwealth attorney, when Internal Affairs said they found out that the police report is falsified, she tells you that she has other evidence to support her case. She said, forget the falsified statement. Forget it. Don't worry about it. We already knew about it. It doesn't matter. It's minor administrative error. They want to tell you that it's minor administrative error falsifying the foundation of this case. And she tells you, I have other evidence. Well, Commonwealth, Amy Ashworth, I have the whole file, and we're taking a fine comb through the file, and we're going through it. Now, what Amy Ashworth is doing in this case, the material facts of this case show that this is a vehicle accident. The computer inside the vehicle shows that Mustafa's foot is on the brake the whole entire time. The dash camera showed that he's trying to avoided every vehicle. He did everything he can to avoid a vehicle accident. There is no argument inside the vehicle. So what does this Commonwealth attorney do? Now that Mustafa's statements are falsified, they start bringing in individuals in this case, and they call them witnesses. Now, every body cam is sealed. You can't know what these individuals are saying. You can't verify what the written police reports are. In Mustafa's file, there are written police reports. There is a written discovery. For every body cam, for every forensic interview, there's a written report. You can't verify the written report because the body cam and the videos are sealed. Now, when we open the videos, when we watch the videos, we find out that every individual that the Commonwealth attorney is bringing into this case tell you, we were not there, we didn't hear. And they began claiming and painting Mustafa as a monster. I mean, this is the definition of manufactured probable cause. And what does the police department do? What does the Commonwealth attorney do? They seal off the videos so that you can't verify that these individuals are simply manufacturing probable cause. Unfortunately for the Commonwealth attorney, unfortunately for you, ma'am, we're going over these videos and the community is taking a look at what you're doing behind closed doors. Now, in Mustafa's case, there are individuals, and we're going to identify these individuals, and we're doing podcasts about the videos to get to the bottom of where in this case, I mean, Prosecutor Sarah Sammy wants to tell you, Prosecutor Sarah Sammy tells you in courts, she tells Judge Weimer, Your Honor, I have a witness that will testify to Mustafa premeditated this. This is what Commonwealth attorney Amy Ashworth says in court. And we have the audio from what Prosecutor Sarah Sammy says in court. Let's go over what the prosecutor says. So that way there's a foundation to what we're talking about. So Commonwealth Amy Ashworth gets on the news and she says she has other evidence that will support her case, that this is a murder case. That's what she says, right? So the prosecutor in court tells the judge, Your Honor, I have a witness. Let's listen to what Prosecutor Sarah Sammy says. Now, if you go on YouTube under Not Another Boring Podcast, there is videos, there is a playlist. I've called it Police Body Cam Mustafa Al-Jazari. And you'll see all the videos in Mustafa's file leaked on the internet. And I've numbered them in exhibits. So that way we can reference them. If you go over to this video is titled General District Court Bond Hearing. Specifically, if you go to timestamp 3010. So in the comment section, I put timestamps to what prosecutor Sarah Sammy is saying. So if you go over to 3010, if you click on it, it'll take you directly to where she says, "Your Honor, I have a witness that will testify to Mustafa premeditated, and this is a murder." Listen to what she says.
Another individual came forward to say that this defendant had told Dorothy that he would kill her in the past. Your Honor.
Listen to what she just said. She said, "Your Honor, I have a witness that will testify to where Mustafa said, 'I will kill Dorothy in the past.'" Now that we heard what the prosecutor says in court, we're going to comb through the witnesses. We're going to go through every video in the Mustafa Al-Jazari case. And we want to find out which witness is actually saying it. Now, what I'm going to tell you, that I went through all the videos, I went through all the witnesses, and no one is actually saying this. Every single person will tell you, "I didn't hear it, I didn't see it." And they would reference another individual. When you open that video, that individual is referencing another individual. And then you go into that video, they're referencing the same individuals that referenced you to that individual. It's like a game of ping pong. And this is why the file is sealed. Because when you read the documents, the transcription from those videos, well, it's as if they're repackaging, the police department and the prosecutors are repackaging what's being said on these videos and making it look like they're saying on paper that these individuals were there, they heard, they saw. But when you watch the video, that's not true. Each one of them said, "I was not there, I did not see it." This is hearsay. This is the definition of manufacturing probable cause. Now, let's go into who is being used in this case as a witness. This is Dorothy's estranged half-brother. Doesn't know anything about his sister. The kids doesn't even know him. Doesn't even know Mustafa. This is Derek. This is Kylie Clapp. And we're going through her forensic interview. And we're going to take a deep dive into what she says. This is a 16-year-old at the time that did not live with Dorothy, did not live with Mustafa. Will tell you in her forensic interview, "I was not there. I was barely there. I didn't see anything. I didn't hear anything." But began to paint Mustafa as a monster. This is Evelyn Horton. She's already gotten disqualified. We watched her body cam last time. She sent investigator Robert Drum an email. So what I want you to do, if you're not tracking what I'm talking about, watch the previous podcasts. In the previous podcast, we went into Evelyn Horton's body cam. And in the body cam, she says, "I'm not the witness." But in the beginning, she sent an email telling the main investigator, Robert Drum, the one that falsified Mustafa's statement, that I'm a witness. I'm a witness to Mustafa premeditate the murder. That's what she claimed on the email. "My name is Evelyn Horton, blah, 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 and I'm a witness." Now, when you listen to the body cam, in the body cam, she says, "I was not there. I don't know Moses. I don't know Dorothy. I wasn't there. I'm getting my information from Kylie Clapp." So, Evelyn Horton, you disqualified yourself as a witness. Does that make sense? "I was not there. I did not hear it." You claim to be a witness, but when the investigator actually talks to you, you say, "You were not there. I did not hear it." And then the investigator is so frustrated. He's like, "So where are you getting your information from?" She says, "Kylie Clapp." Okay. So now that Evelyn Sweetheart, you're disqualified. On the body cam, she masked her identity and she says, my name is Amy Hodson, blah, blah, blah. We know from the email you're Evelyn Horton. Nice try. Commonwealth attorney Amy Ashworth did a really nice job at sealing the file. But unfortunately for you and her, the file is being leaked all over the internet. So Evelyn Horton disqualified. Let's put her picture with the X. That's beautiful X. Sweetheart, you have been disqualified. And like Trump says, you're fired. All right. So she says, I'm getting my information from Kylie Clapp. So we're going to take a deep dive into who Kylie Clapp is. We're going to continue where we picked off last time. Now, another individual that is attempting to call themselves a witness also says, I didn't hear anything. I didn't see anything. I wasn't there. Is Tanisha Coleman, the neighbor. So we're going to take a deep dive into her body cams. Who else? My favorite is the wife of the investigator, who happens to be on three-way while the investigator, Robert Drum, is talking to the witnesses. Stephanie Claiborne Drum. If you're in the police department out of Prince William County, you might, over the years, got to know Stephanie Claiborne Drum. Now, question for you, working for that police department. Why is this investigator having his wife on three-way while he's conducting an investigation? She doesn't work for the police department. I mean, at one point, she used to be a dispatcher. I don't know what happened. She got fired, whatever, blah, blah, blah. No longer work for the police department. What is she doing on three-way when the investigator is talking to the alleged witnesses? And then we find her on the internet with one of the person that's pretending to be a witness, Evelyn Horton. That's multiple podcasts that we're going to jump into at one point. I mean, the level of misconduct. She's the wife of the investigator is going into the file, releasing documents and videos out of Mustafa's cell phone, out of Mustafa's file, to troll the conversation on the internet with a person who tells you, I am not a witness, Evelyn Horton. Stephanie Claiborne Drum. You're in trouble, man. This community is waking up to a reality. A lot of Robert Drum's friends that work in the police department is asking the same question. Why are you on three-way? Why are you trolling this case? This is Dorothy's ex-husband, Divine Jones. We have multiple body cams. We're going to take a deep dive into who Divine Jones is, what is his relationship with Dorothy, what is his relationship with the kids. He says on a body cam, I don't know Mustafa. I never met Mustafa. I wasn't there. Okay. So going into Kylie Clapp, where we stopped last time, we're going to pick up where we stopped off last time. Now, before we jump into the forensic interview, and by the way, these forensic interviews are exhausting. I am tired from hearing and going through them over and over and over and over again. They're exhausting. I mean, Kylie Clapp says one thing, 10 minutes later, she says something completely opposite, and it's like Kylie impeaches herself. But what I want you to take out of this when we do take a deep dive into the forensic interview is look for a couple of things. One, is she a witness? I mean, the prosecutor is telling us that she has a witness that witnessed that Mustafa premeditated this murder. Is Kylie Clapp a witness? I mean, when she says, I wasn't there, I didn't hear it, and then she talks about someone else. And then when you go to that someone else, they'll tell you it's Kylie. I mean, this is hearsay. This is the definition of hearsay. So I want you to look out for that. I want you to look out for is the situation that she's describing, the scenario that she's describing, realistic? I mean, these scenarios, I mean, she's painting Mustafa as a monster. And she begins painting a scenario for you. Is the scenario even realistic? So that's 2. And 3, I want you to find out if there's a motive. Why is Kylie lying about Mustafa? Now, I like to think that Kylie is lying about Mustafa because she just found out that, Mustafa got in a vehicle accident. He lost his girlfriend. He lost her 5-year-old baby. This is her daughter. Her mom died in a vehicle accident. So whether Mustafa did everything he can to avoid a vehicle accident, whether this is a vehicle accident, whether he did it on purpose, whether it's a vehicle accident, she's not going to care. So regardless, she's going to try to make Mustafa look bad. But here's the problem. Here's the problem. She's been after and attempting to make Mustafa look bad before the vehicle accident. Why? Now, I'm going to show you pieces of evidence that apparently Kylie has been hanging around individuals that hates Mustafa and is making her opinion about Mustafa through those individuals. Now, that's a problem. I mean, if you're going to come into this case and talk to the police and say this and that, if there's a motive, you're either telling the truth or you're just lying about Mustafa. And if you've been doing it before the vehicle accident, that's a bigger problem. You have a motive to lie. Once we dive into this forensic interview, you'll know what I'm talking about. There's videos and evidence that I'm going to be introducing in this podcast. We're on 48 minutes. All right. The first video that we're going to be talking about is, this is where we picked off last time. All right, so Kylie Clapp says, my dad is making me come here. So we talked about that in the last podcast. And Kylie Clapp, her dad works for a club owner that has a problem with Mustafa. And in this forensic interview, she says, my dad is making me come here.
So what is it that brought you here? Like, why are you here to talk to me today?
Because my dad made me.
Because your dad made you?
Because the detective kept calling him.
Okay. So, what was that about?
Welcome back to how relevant and important this is, because Kylie Clapp came out to see us before the interview. I mean, this forensic interview was conducted on September 8th of 2023. The vehicle accident happened April 5th. We know that Kylie Clapp was at the hospital. I mean, look at this date. That's September 8th, 2023. What Evelyn Horton tells us, that Kylie Clapp was at the hospital that night. We hear her in the background when they're talking to the neighbor. There is a investigator that calls her on her cell phone. So what's her dad making her come here in September? Now, the same dad that works for an individual that hates Mustafa. Two weeks before the forensic interview, Kylie, who we don't even know who she is at that point. We've never met Kylie. We don't know who Kylie is. While we were protesting Mustafa's treatment inside the jail, Mustafa was beaten by correctional officers. When the evidence came out that they falsified his police report, guards in the jail beat Mustafa. There's a video. We have a video when Mustafa was assaulted and he was denied medical. While we were protesting, Kylie came out to see us 2 weeks before her forensic interview. Now, what I'm finding out is Kylie Clapp, they did an interview with Kylie back in April. But Kylie, remember, Kylie is not with her mother, separated by CPS. So she doesn't live with her mom or Mustafa. She lives with her dad. Kylie was never there, barely there. And when the vehicle accident happened, they did an interview with her, but she's all over the place. So what do? They delete her forensic interview and then redo a forensic interview in September. She goes out, look for information. I mean, we're protesting outside the jail. We're releasing home videos. We're talking about the case. And 2 weeks before this forensic interview, she comes out to see us. This is a video of Kylie Clapp while we were protesting for Mustafa. By the way, we don't know who Kylie is. When I was there, I was protesting for Mustafa. And all of a sudden, this little girl comes out of nowhere. And she says, Dorothy is my mother. I kid you not, the world froze. I was so happy that I'm meeting Dorothy's daughter. I called my mom. I called the rest of the family. And we all sat down with Kylie. And we talked to her for just about 2 hours. Now, I remember something that was really interesting. She told me, can you make sure that it's not video recorded? You know, at the time, I'm protesting for my brother. I have my TikTok live. I have my YouTube live. Okay? But she specifically told me not to have it video recorded. In retrospect, at the time, I didn't know what was happening. I thought she was just saying she doesn't want to be on video. Later, I find out that this little girl is gathering information so that she can go into a forensic interview and start painting Mustafa as a monster, but she's gathering information. She's not there. She was never there. She was barely there. But she wanted as much as information, what we know, what we have, because at the time we were talking about, we have the Google Nest videos inside the apartment. How could she lie about Mustafa and his relationship with the kids and her mom if there's a Google Nest video inside the apartment? Watch this video. This is a portion of a 2-hour video. Now, the 2-hour video will come out in court. Kylie, we sat down with you for 2 hours. You're going to get cross-examined in court. And we're going to get to the bottom of how you're lying about Mustafa in the Mustafa Al-Jazari case. Watch this video. This is Kylie hugging mom. Now, when you watch this, I want you to tell me, is this the same Kylie that we're watching 2 weeks later in the forensic interview?
I wanted to see you all the time.
I wanted to meet you since I saw you on the news last year, a year ago, yes. I understand. Losing your son is very hard.
I didn't see Mama. I didn't see Mama. But I was because I loved you. Mustafa loved you.
West Williams County.
Let's go there.
Let's go. Yeah. Where did you come here? I mean, I want. Do you want me to grab one of these?
Yes. You can grab it.
This one?
I'll grab this one. You grab the rest of them.
All right. Franco, can you grab one?
Now, this is Kylie 2 weeks before she went into a forensic interview. And if you're tracking and you're following what we're talking about here, there's a video of Kylie's forensic interview on the internet, on our page, under Not Another Boring Podcast. Is this the same person? Is this the same personality? I mean, she's hugging all over my mom. But yet when she goes into a forensic interview, it's as if you're watching a completely different person. She doesn't tell the police department, the forensic interviewer, that, hey, I went out, sat down with the family, gathered information so I can conduct an interview where I can lie about Mustafa. She doesn't say that. Nowhere in the police report, nowhere in Mustafa's discovery that it shows that Kylie is out information hunting. Now, there's a 2 hour of this video, and this is going to come out in court when she's getting cross-examined. And her forensic interview is going to she's impeaching her own self to a point where when she's asking the forensic interview, 1 minute she says Mustafa is abusive. 1 minute she says mom loved Mustafa. And it's just, which one is it? You want to say Mustafa is abusive, but you say that mom loves Mustafa. You want to say that Mustafa is stalking your mother, but then you say mom is dating Mustafa. You're impeaching yourself. And then you get to the foundation of the whole entire interview, which is what we're talking about. When the prosecutor says in court, I have a witness that will testify that this is premeditated murder. Kylie says, yes, this is premeditated. He did it on purpose. The forensic interviewer would ask her, were you there? Did you hear that yourself? She says, no. So you weren't there. And then she talks about someone else. Well, when we go into that someone else, they say Kylie told us. It's hearsay inside of hearsay. And you can't verify it because the video is sealed. Well, now we have it. And we're releasing it. And we're going through it. And we're getting to the bottom of what is going on here. Now, I want to play a video. Kylie Clapp got on the internet, and she says this.
My dad, he's a piercer. He pierces like a lot of strippers, and he had brought up to them what happened, and they were and who they were, and they were like, yeah, we know this guy. Like, he used to record our license plates and put it on the internet and like follow us home and stuff. So I also was thinking, I don't want them to follow me home, and I don't want to put myself in a position where, I'm unsafe.
So she says she's describing that Mustafa she's terrified that Mustafa is in front of the club. She's talking about Crystal City, Billy Baines Club. If you're from the area in Virginia, in Crystal City, there's a strip club. She's talking about that strip club. That Mustafa goes there, and his only intentions is to record strippers record their license plates. I mean, even if I were to just imagine that scenario, it's unrealistic. I have videos, so many videos. Me and my brother used to go in front of that club. It has a lot of foot traffic, and he has a business. I have a business. He has a physical therapy equipment business. I have a roadside assistant business. I promote my card. I help my brother sell his equipment, his physical therapy equipment. And there's a lot of people that we end up making a lot of money promoting our business. But yet Kylie wants to tell you that Mustafa is only there to record strippers and record their license plates. And then she tells you, by the way, I have videos, so many videos that shows the strippers that she's talking about loved Mustafa. They used to promote the business for him. The heat warmers, the physical equipment devices, the loaded devices that he sells. And then their owner, Billy, one day he came out, he got an argument with Mustafa. He wanted to kick Mustafa off the property. The video went viral. And I'm going to play that video in a second. The video went viral. And then all of a sudden, the same strippers that used to love Mustafa and promote his business, all of a sudden turned against him. Of course, their owner, their boss, is not happy that he's going viral because the video shows racism. That a fat white guy is breathing down on Mustafa's neck because he's making a living. I mean, it's a very disturbing video. The video went viral. Just about 9 million people saw that video. Now, before we watch that video, Kylie Clapp talks about that she's scared when she's terrified. I mean, we just watched a video of Kylie hugging all over my mom out. But she wants to describe and say that she's terrified. Wait a minute. When you go back to that video, where is that video? When you go back to that video, I mean, you zoom in. What time did Kylie come out and see us? Oh, that's right. There's a clock at the pavilion right behind us. If we zoom in, is that 2:05 in the morning? 2:05 a.m. You're out meeting the family, hugging all over my mom, but you want to say you're terrified. Which one is it, Kylie? Are you terrified? Are we a bunch of monsters? Is Mustafa a monster? I mean, you're sitting in a forensic interview, and when you go online, you're describing Mustafa as a monster, the family are a bunch of monsters, but yet you're hugging all over my mom. Oh, you don't want to tell the police department that. You think the police department is stupid. Oh, that's right. What did you do when you were done talking to the forensic interviewer? I mean, I'm watching this, and I can't exactly wrap my head around it. You're sitting there lying about Mustafa, painting that Mustafa is a monster. And then in every question that you're asked, were you there? You say no. Did you hear it? You say no. But then you describe Mustafa as a monster. And the minute the interview was over, when the forensic interviewer left, you started laughing. What is so goddamn funny, Kylie? You think the forensic interviewer is stupid? That you think that you fooled the police department? Let's watch that video.
Let me go real quick, okay? And I'll come right back. All right? All right.
Kylie Clapp thinks the police department is stupid. She thinks the forensic interviewer is stupid. I mean, you have the wife of the investigator who's on the phone with you, with Evelyn Horton. You have the wife of the investigator, Stephanie Claiborne, coordinating with her. She's releasing information to her from the sealed file. She's out information hunting, gathering information so she can go into a forensic interview so that what she says actually semi makes sense to a certain extent. And then she does such a shitty job that the Commonwealth attorney seals off the whole entire file. And then you have prosecutor Jason O'Sullivan repackage what she says and make it look on paper as if she was there, as if she is the witness. I mean, you're repackaging this forensic interview. We have the document from what the prosecutor says, Jason O'Sullivan, and how he repackaged the whole thing. I mean, what do you call this? Police misconduct? I mean, police misconduct is a really nice term when you're watching a case of falsified police reports, manufacture probable cause, and then they seal off the whole file so no one can get to the bottom of it. I mean, when you find out, I hired a private investigator that went out and sat down with the ex-boyfriend, Glenn Ford. Now, Glenn Ford admits on a recorded line to the private investigator that Kylie asked him to kill Mustafa a month before the vehicle accident. And this is what I'm talking about. I want to think that Kylie is upset at Mustafa because she found out that her mother died in a vehicle accident. So regardless whether it's Mustafa's fault, it's not Mustafa's fault, this is a 16-year-old girl that's going to blame Mustafa. But she's been after Mustafa before the vehicle accident. And when you find out that her dad works for this guy that went viral, Billy, you begin connecting the dots here. This is Billy, the club owner, where Mustafa was promoting his business. I was there with him. And Billy comes out of nowhere, and he's attempting to remove Mustafa out of public property, a public easement. Who are you to keep my brother off the property? I mean, my brother is promoting his business, is selling his equipment. Me and him, we're talking to people, and you come out of nowhere? You want to remove my brother off the property? This video went viral. It has racism all over it. And when you watch Mustafa, I mean, take a hard look at Mustafa's demeanor. Mustafa's calm, relaxed. He's de-escalating. He's trying to de-escalate the situation. This is the same Mustafa they're painting as a monster. This video went viral, by the way. I mean, it has racism all over it. A white fat guy breathing down a Mustafa's neck for making a living. Mustafa has a business license. I have a business license. We're promoting our company. And this guy comes out of nowhere. This video at the time was watched by over 9 million people in the community. Start boycotting his establishment. Kylie's dad worked for Billy. This guy, Kylie's dad works for Billy. He's a piercer and he pierces all the stripper. We just heard the audio of what Kylie said. My dad pierces all the strippers at that club. So you're telling me here, this is what I'm getting out of when I'm watching all this and all this information that I'm finding out. This is in December. This happened in December. A month later, Mustafa meets Dorothy. Her daughter is hanging out around the strippers for this guy, Billy Bain, is formulating her opinion about Mustafa, about her mom's new boyfriend, through the eyes of the stripper, who now hate Mustafa because their boss and their establishment is getting boycotted by the community. And then at one point, She goes to the ex-boyfriend, Glenn Ford, and she says, can we kill Mustafa and make it look like an accident? I mean, do you want to kill Mustafa and make it look like an accident? Or is someone is pushing you in that direction? We don't know, but we will get to the bottom of it.
Especially the older daughter. Like she wanted me to shoot, like kill him.
The older daughter wanted you to kill him?
Yeah. Like, man, like, could you please, like, if I make it look like, you know what I'm saying, like something, and it's like self-defense, would you do it? And I'm like, no. Fucking keep it up, and goddamn.
This is the video of Billy. So Kylie is hanging out with the strippers that works for Billy. Is her dad, Jason Stantz, works for Billy. And this is the situation with Billy a month before Mustafa met her mom.
Damn it, I'm telling you, keep it up, and goddamn it, I'm telling you, you're gonna fucking go. Are you gonna assault me? You're gonna fucking get off my property. How many times I have to tell him, officer? Get the fuck off my property. Get the fuck off it.
I got this holding on.
You're good. Get the fuck off my property. You get the fuck off it.
You're gonna go to jail, bro.
Yeah, you watch who goes to fucking jail. How many times have you heard how many times I've told him? And you'll fucking see where we're standing. Get the fuck off my property, motherfucker.
Bitch, stop
fuck you. Get off.
So, what we're doing here is we're laying a foundation. We have information. So when we're watching the forensic interview, we're asking ourselves, I want you to ask yourself a couple of things. Is there a motive here? Does Kylie Clapp have a motive to paint Mustafa a monster? The things that she's claiming about Mustafa, that he is a monster, I mean, was she there? What is her evidence? Every piece of evidence, every time she's asked, she says, I was not there. That's hearsay. 2, are the scenarios realistic? The scenarios that she's describing, that Mustafa is this and that, is it realistic? We're just about an hour and 14 minutes. We like to keep these podcasts to an hour, a little bit over an hour. What we're doing here, we set a foundation so that way when we get on the podcast tomorrow, we can continue combing through the forensic interview. And there's a lot of body cams and there's a lot of details. And we're going to slow down this podcast. That's the only way you can do it. I mean, there's so much details. What this prosecutor, with this Commonwealth attorney, Amy Ashworth, is doing something in this case. She's muddying up the water. The material fact of this case show that it's a vehicle accident. And she's muddying up the water by bringing individuals and sealing off their videos that will tell you we were not there. And they throw a lot of information and paint Mustafa as a monster. And unfortunately, in this case, we have to go through it. I mean, we have to go through this forensic interview to find out. I mean, Commonwealth Amy Ashworth says she has other information that will support her case. This is it. This is her information. This is her evidence. This is the Commonwealth attorney evidence. A bunch of videos, a bunch of interviews that each individual say they were not there, but they're sealed. And they were going to remain sealed even from the jury themselves. I mean, think about a situation like this where they wanted to repackage these videos. I mean, they have a written report of every video, and they repackaged it, and where in the written report, they're making Kylie out to be a witness. They're saying that she was there, that she's the witness. But when you watch the video, she told you herself, I was not there. I am not the witness. I did not hear it. On that note, thank you for being here. This is not another boring podcast. Mustafa, through the police body cam. Judge Carol Weimer, you're under the microscope.